Hi everyone, it's Mark Lyman from HomeFixated.com. I am here today to talk with you about the DeWalt Gyro Drive screwdriver. Now, Black & Decker came out with a similar product called the Gyro, which we reviewed on HomeFixated.com in case you want to check that out. And that was more geared towards a homeowner, DIYer. This DeWalt model, it's got a little bit more juice. It's an 8-volt max model, so it's got a good amount of power, especially given the size of the tool. And it's more geared towards a professional user or serious DIYer. So what is the technology? Well, first off, basically you squeeze this trigger and you can hear a little buzzing there. That actuates the gyroscope inside. When I turn to the left, it turns the tool to the left. When I turn to the right, it turns the tool to the right. That's basically all there is to it. It's very intuitive. And that's a nice thing. If you were using a regular screwdriver, if you turn it to the left, lefty loosey, righty tighty. It's the same concept, and it's very intuitive on this tool. With that said, there's definitely some pluses and minuses to this technology, and I want to go over a few things you should consider if you're looking into buying this tool. I think the first thing for me is that in some ways there's an inefficiency built into this tool from the standpoint of making 2 steps out of what is normally 1 step. So with a traditional cordless screwdriver, you squeeze the trigger that actuates the tool. With this tool, you're squeezing the trigger and turning your hand. It's not a huge deal, obviously. It's not like you're doing a whole ton of extra labor there, but it's 2 steps instead of 1. So in some ways, you're inclined to wonder, if I'm going to squeeze a trigger anyway, why am I just not squeezing a trigger to actuate the tool? One idea I had on that, and I don't know if DeWalt considered this in their design or not, would be to follow in the lead of a pneumatic nailer's design. So with a pneumatic nailer, you've got a safety mechanism on the front of the tool. You push that into your workpiece, and then you can actuate the firing mechanism of the tool. If you did something similar with this, where pressure is detected on the tip, basically the gyroscope would actuate when you push it into your fastener. And then instead of having to push a button or squeeze a trigger, all you're thinking about, and you're not really thinking about it because it's so intuitive, is turning your wrist to the left or to the right. That to me seems like a more elegant solution to this type of technology. DeWalt, if you run with that, just give me a call and we'll work out a commission schedule on the new design, okay? So a couple other things to be aware of. In terms of the ergonomics, in some ways the ergonomics of this tool are fantastic. It's got this groove down the side, super comfortable in your hand. It's also got this unlock mechanism here. This little button, when you push it in, allows you to pivot the tool, and all of a sudden, instead of a pistol grip, you've got an inline, more traditional style cordless screwdriver. If you're using this tool for any amount of time, you're going to realize very quickly that there are times when that pistol configuration is just not going to work. You're not going to have room for it. So it's great that they incorporated that, and it really gives the tool a ton of flexibility, and it's great ergonomically from that standpoint. Where the ergonomics don't shine quite as brightly is when you're putting the tool into an awkward position. So if you're reaching, say, under a cabinet to loosen or tighten a fastener, 2 issues come up. One is, at least for me, and maybe you guys are smarter than I am or faster than I am on the pickup on this, but I had to think about which way am I going to turn my wrist now to get the tool to go the direction I want. So that was a little problematic. The other issue is that when you're dealing with a traditional cordless screwdriver, you're going to apply it to your workpiece or your fastener in a neutral position that's comfortable. I mean, you can see here if I were removing, say, a switch plate here, and I put my hand out, I'm not doing anything crazy like this. I just put my hand out comfortably, and I would squeeze the trigger. With this tool, you're putting your hand in a neutral position and then typically getting out of that neutral position. Sometimes that's not a big deal. If it's right in front of you and you're just turning a little bit, no big deal, right? But if your hand's already in a little bit of an awkward position or you're having to reach, then all of a sudden that little twist can become very uncomfortable, and it's not an ergonomic design in that particular case. So that's something to be aware of. Where the tool shines is if you're doing a lot of loosening and tightening. So for example, if you're an electrician and you've got 50 switch plates to take out and put back in, you're not having to worry about a directional switch on this tool. So you don't have to think about it. You just basically turn your wrist whichever way you want it to go. The other nice thing is with traditional cordless tools like this, I always find myself bumping that directional switch. So I'll either accidentally put it in a lock position, or I'll accidentally bump it to the wrong direction, or I'll just flat out forget about which direction I left it in the last time I used it. This tool basically eliminates all that. So it's really great from that standpoint. If you're doing a lot of back and forth in terms of directions, that's where this tool definitely stands out. Other features, I think you saw before, it's got 2 LEDs on the front. They're pretty bright. They actually do a great job of lighting up dark work areas. And it's got a fuel gauge on the top here that you can see. And I already showed you the flip mechanism. Other than that, it's got a battery that just pops right out of the bottom, super easy, and it does come with a charger. So it's really interesting technology, has a lot of promise, great for certain applications, not so great for certain other applications. My suggestion would be, if you're looking into getting this tool, if you can get your hands on a demo model to try out in the store, for example, I highly recommend it. It still takes a while to get used to it, but it'll at least give you a feel for the tool and give you a sense of whether or not it's something you want to dive into. For more details and a little bit more in-depth review, be sure to drop by homefixated.com, where we'll have some written information to supplement this video. And be sure to check out our site in general, homefixated.com. We've got a lot of great reviews on not only tools, but products for around the home. Look forward to seeing you there. Thanks so much.